Hi, friends. Today I'm going to talk about Wassily Kandinsky. He is one of our focused artists coming up for when you guys come back. This is one of my favorite projects to do with fifth grade, so I'm really excited. A little bit about Wassily Kandinsky. He was born December 16th, 1866 in Moscow, Russia. His style of art is abstract art or expressionism. His medium or media, which media or medium just means what they use, like what supply did they use. He was most known for his paintings. I really liked this quote for him because I think it really embodied his overall artwork. Color is the keyboard, the eyes are the hammers, the soul is the piano with many strings. The artist is the hand which plays, touching one key or another to cause vibrations in the soul. He really focused on the feeling of art, just like how music gives you a feeling, art also gives you that feeling. Kandinsky intertwined his love for music with his love for painting. He created a painting series called the Compositions. So you've probably heard this word in music class, a musical composition. We also use that word in art class, meaning, how a painting is laid out. Down here I have a couple of his paintings from the series The Composition. Here's one of them. Being an abstract artist, he didn't always make every painting look exactly like something. He was influenced by different shapes and colors that he felt while listening to music or other inspirational things that he saw throughout his life. He would give gestures of those objects in his paintings. So, for example, in some areas, you might be able to make out a face or an animal of some kind, but you're not exactly sure as the viewer. Only the artist knows the true meaning. Here's another artwork from his series, The Composition. As you can see, there's lots of color, shapes, and movement in his artwork, which makes sense because he was very influenced by music. Here's another artwork from his series, The Composition. As you can see, he carries the theme of movement, color, and shape throughout this entire series. I believe that these shapes are a little bit more geometric than some of the other paintings in the series, which is good to have some kind of variety in the series. Here you see a painting that's not a part of the series, The Composition, but it's one of his most famous. Although it seems more organized than those paintings in The Composition, it still carries the same theme of color and shape as he does in all of his paintings. Here's my example of my Kandinsky Can I Get to Know You project. As you can see, I hid some images in my work, just like Kandinsky would do in his work. He would hide images, making them abstract. You can vaguely see those, but they're not extremely obvious, but you can still make out that he's trying to hide some figures in his work. So looking at mine, obviously the soccer ball, but it's not completely obvious. It's still a form of a shape. It's very much in its basic form. I have an H in here because my old last name was Haynes, which started with an H. I have a bear claw in here because the bear is my favorite animal. This right here is an upside down lacrosse stick because I coach lacrosse. I hid this S here for Spagnolo. And then the rest are seemingly random shapes. But they're not entirely random because what I did is I listened to my favorite song while I was drawing this, and these shapes, and lines were lines that I was inspired by the music, and that's what made me put them in there. This kind of reminded me of the certain sounds that I heard in the music, the different beats I heard in the music, the different jumbling of instruments I heard in the music while I was listening to my favorite song. So for your project, what I want you to do is think of at least 5 different things about you. Listen to your favorite song and draw these 5 different things. But I don't want you to be obvious and have 5 different things just scattered around your image. They need to overlap one another and almost be hidden, just like Kandinsky did in his work. Once you're done adding your 5 things, then you need to start thinking about how else to fill the space. Add in different shapes that remind you of the music or lines. Once you have your final drawn in pencil, then I want you to go over it in a black marker, preferably if you have a Sharpie, but if you don't, a black marker is fine. If you don't have a black marker, you can also use a black crayon. Then I would like you to color it in a color scheme. Looking at my work, what color scheme do you think I used? I used a cool color scheme. The cool colors are purple, green, and blue. The kind of music that I was listening to was calm and relaxing, so that's why I picked a cool color scheme. But maybe yours is upbeat, like a pop song, for example, and maybe that makes you think of some warm colors. My ultimate goal for this project is to make sure that you're including at least 5 things, you're filling the space, and you're overlapping your work. Again, I don't want to see 5 separated items. They need to overlap and work together in some way. Now I'm going to show you a demonstration on how you could set up your 5 different things for Kandinsky. I'm going to start with a soccer ball, which is just going to be a simple circle with some simple shapes on the inside. Remember, this is abstract, so it doesn't have to be realistic. Keep it simple. The second thing I'm going to include is my favorite food. I'm going to draw an abstract taco. Next, I want to include the letter S because that's the beginning or the first letter of my last name. I'm also going to include an abstract lacrosse stick since that's one of my favorite sports. My birthday is in December, so I'm going to draw an abstract snowman. Now that I've figured out my 5 things, I'm going to listen to my favorite song and start adding in different shapes and lines that help express my feelings during the song. I also want to make sure I fill the space, but not too much because I don't want it to look cluttered. Just enough so that the space is divided, but it feels balanced. All your work must be submitted in the Google Classroom. You insert your pictures by clicking Insert, Image, Camera, and then take your pictures and they will appear in each of the boxes. Take a progress picture and a final picture. Don't forget to add your artist statement at the end.